Hey Bob.
Hello.
So, Franz Ferdinand chapter 4.
Yep.
So, I think the preparation of this new album was a little bit different because you played the songs live before going into the studio.
Some of them. No, actually not that many really. We played them live before we released them, but many of them had been, many of them had been recorded. Because what was happening was while we were recording, we were doing kind of short little bursts of like sort of 3-week blocks where we do like a week of writing, a week of rehearsing and arranging as a band, then a week in the studio, and then occasionally we do a little bit of touring and like play some shows. Like last year we did some festivals, did some here in France as well. And if we had songs that were finished, we'd put them into the set because we could. But yeah.
What was the roadmap? I mean, is it the same for each album? Do you?
No,
is this
no.
like not a recipe, but I mean, it depends.
Well, this time around we wanted to do it quite differently from the third album. On the third record, we went into a studio without really having any finished songs. We kind of wrote and recorded simultaneously, and maybe it wasn't as satisfying for us as it could have been. So this time around, we made a clear decision that we wouldn't go anywhere near a studio until we had songs that were written and arranged and we could play them, efficiently in a rehearsal space.
Was it there's some stuff that you experiment on these albums that you didn't try previously?
Well, there are keyboards on there. We've worked with people we hadn't worked with before, which is also always kind of like makes different outcomes. We worked with Alexis and Joe from Hot Chip, and Todd Terje, the Norwegian dance guy, and Bjorn Yitling from Peter, Bjorn and John. So yeah, I mean, that working with different characters always kind of you end up with a different outcome. So yeah, in that respect,
it seems that some of the songs could have been on the first or second album in a way.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think they're quite dancey. They're quite dancey, I guess, and they're quite sort of very 3.5 minute pop songs, which is kind of, I guess, which is what our first couple albums were like as well. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's some simplicity that maybe was not on the previous album.
Yeah, there was the last album. I think, like I was saying before, we went into a room and songs were built out of like jams and grooves and stuff, and I think that lends itself to making songs that have a lot of excess on it, because it's more about the sound really than the song, whereas this time around we were really interested in getting the songs nailed first and then working on the sounds on top of them.
Even if the band is like a rock band, I mean, the groove and the beat and the dance aspect has always been in the middle of Franz Ferdinand. So for you as a bass player, how did you see this album? And personally, how do you see your personal evolution in the band during this?
Well, when I joined the band, I didn't play the bass really. I couldn't play any instrument, so I learned the bass as the band's career has gone along. So I think this time around, I haven't felt as confident as like a bass player as I do on this record. I actually understand what's going on now a little bit more, and like our band, we always wanted to adopt the dynamics of dance music and put it into a live band with guitars and drums and whatever. And so, yeah, the rhythm section's always been quite important, and no less so on this record, I think.
Do you have some favorite bass player in the history of rock and roll?
Well, a guy called what's he called? Paul McCartney. He played in the band.
Yeah, I heard about it.
Yeah, you heard of him. Yeah. He played in like the 60s and stuff, and had some songs in the 70s and 80s and 90s, and the last decade as well.
Yeah. And on the more like groove or funk or dance orientated?
Yeah, I mean, To be honest, I learned to play the bass to be in the band, and Nick and Alex and Paul, they're all bass players as well. So they're kind of like, they taught me how to play. So they're my biggest influences, I suppose. I kind of, Nick kind of studied the bass, so he's like has influenced my playing a lot, I guess.
Like you mentioned, the songs are like short, and it's like even a short album. Do you think that less is more is always the best
I think
recipe?
So. Yeah, I think that we wanted to make it punchy, and we wanted the songs that we chose there to hang together as like a strong body. And over the way we worked, it was kind of we were recording for like a week at a time, and then we'd work on 1 or 2 songs, and then by the end of the process, we did this like several times. We had like 20 songs, and we chose the songs that we thought would hang together. It was either going to be like a double album, which was kind of a bit average, or it was going to be a really good like short one album, and so we chose the latter route.
Do you think that the best songs are the one which are written in 5 minutes? Depends.
No, I think it depends really. I think that the best ones are the ones that come from a very strong idea, and the idea can come very quickly, but then working it out can take much longer, and different elements can take longer. But yeah, I think the ideas should be very clear and quick and defined, like what the song's going to be about and what it's going to, how it's going to feel. But the actual process of arranging it, etc., can take much longer. But the secret is trying to make it sound like it was conceived quickly. That's the hard bit, really.
What's the color of the next car? You're ready, bastard. Don't believe in God, but believe in this shit. Not me, I like to bring them down. Not me, some fool who dum do. Not me. Some people get a freak out of me. Some people can see that I can.
The fact that this album is quite very different from the previous one, like we mentioned it, was it like a certain disappointment in Tonight? When you look at it previously,
we were in a different place. I don't think we could have made another record using the sort of the methods that we made Tonight. We couldn't have gone into a room with like an indefinite period without and kind of like jammed and worked on sounds and grooves and turned them into songs, because we would have killed each other. So we had to make a record, we had to make it differently in a different way from Tonight.
When you prepare an album, or is the band? You try to not to listen to a lot of stuff, a lot of music, not to be influenced by, or it depends?
No, we still listen to music. Maybe always kind of interested in what's going on. How much it influences what we're doing is could be isn't maybe not so important. Maybe it is sometimes, but it's not. Our process isn't dependent on it, because we've all spent like our whole lives listening to lots of music, so it's all our influence is already in there, I think, and because we're 4 individual guys, our tastes are very broad, like if you're seen as a whole, and like we meet in the middle, but like we go to the extremes as well in 4 different directions, so it's already all in there, but we're always interested in new music as well.
Like you said, you're a band, so it's like 4 individualities. What do you think is your part in this? In the total? What do you think do you bring?
Taste,
classy and tasty.
Yeah, and ideas, and and I make a really good cup of tea as well.
When you look at the story of the band and all the album, what do you think? I guess the question is more to be asked to the other guys.
Yeah, the way we were working when we wanted to make sure that we had songs written before we went to a studio, part of that was working on ideas of what the songs would be about, and that's something that Alex and I enjoy sort of talking about, maybe more than the other 2 do as well. So we would meet up and kind of talk through and ideas of what, lyrically, what is this song going to be about, and what's the mood, and what do we want it to do. And then Nick and Alex are very much kind of like work on music together. Nick's like an amazing music brain, so that's kind of they then two kind of get together and do that, and then the 4 of us meet up and kind of turn it into a Franz Ferdinand song, and it gets the flavour and the feel of Franz Ferdinand at that stage. So yeah, I think I'm most useful at the beginning, and then at the very beginning, and then in the studio playing the bass, I guess.
When you're happy from a dream, is it hard to work out what is real? Is the real over there more vivid than here ever feels? Oh, we could love you. Maybe
big music addict. You listen to a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, what is the last stuff, for example, you're
well,
listening
on the
to?
plane here today, I was listening to the Savages record, who were playing earlier, which I think is really good, and listening to Disclosure, and what else did I listen
Mainly
to?
new stuff?
Yeah, I enjoy listening to new stuff. Then I listen to things that I've always listened to, like, you know, Modest Mouse or Magnetic Fields or Neil Young. You know, I kind of things that I will never get tired of.
From a long friendship that grew from such a love, from such a love, from such a love, such a
Retrospectively, do you think that being huge from the episode 1, from the first album, was a good thing or was a bit dangerous in a way?
I think that you could read it any way you wanted to. I don't have any regrets. You know, we had such fast success, and it's something that's impossible. The height, you know, where we were is impossible to maintain. I mean, so yeah, I think it's just we're quite comfortable with where we are at the moment, and certainly I'm a lot happier now, you know, being in this band than I have been in the past. So yeah, it's no regrets really.